There's a certain kind of magic that happens when waste turns into life. The day I dug my fingers into the first handful of rich dark compost I'd ever made, what I now call my bio-black gold, I knew I'd stumbled onto something powerful. It smelled like the forest, after rain, crumbly, and alive. And the best part? I didn't buy a single bag of compost. Every ingredient came straight from my kitchen. The same scraps most people toss into the bin without a second thought. This is the story of how I turned humble leftovers into the most potent soil booster I've ever used, and how you can do it too, no fancy gear or expensive gadgets required. It started as an experiment. I'd been working on a small raised bed garden behind my house, determined to grow lush greens and juicy tomatoes without chemical fertilizers, but my soil was stubborn, pale, compacted, lifeless. I knew it needed organic matter, something alive, that could breathe energy back into it. So I decided to feed the soil instead of the plants, the goal to create a living compost that was teeming with microbial life, capable of regenerating even the tiredest patch of ground. I'd heard about composting, sure, but I wanted something richer, faster, and more biologically active. That's when I came across the concept of bio-black gold, an advanced compost blend that combines kitchen waste, bioactivators, and a little technique to speed up nature's recycling process. The secret ingredient? Absolutely nothing fancy. I raided my kitchen and found everything I needed to start: vegetable peels and fruit scraps, banana peels, carrot tops, potato skins, apple cores, even wilted spinach, coffee grounds and tea leaves, full of nitrogen, caffeine, and micronutrients that jumpstart microbial life. Eggshells, crushed for calcium, great for preventing tomato blossom end rot later on. Stale bread and rice, a great carbon source that breaks down quickly when mixed with greens. The trick was not just dumping it all into a pile, but understanding the balance. Composting thrives on a mix of greens, which are nitrogen-rich materials like fruit peels, and browns, which are carbon-rich materials like paper, leaves, or dry straw. I kept the ratio roughly 2 parts greens to 1 part browns, enough to keep the microbes fed without turning the pile into a stinking mess. If I didn't have dry leaves on hand, I'd shred cardboard, or used paper bags. Even sawdust from untreated wood worked like a charm. Now, what makes this compost bio, and not just regular compost, is the living biology behind it. I wanted to activate my pile, not just let it sit and rot. To do that, I used 3 natural bio boosters. First, rice water. That milky water left after rinsing rice is full of starches that attract beneficial bacteria. I'd pour it over the compost every few days. Second, molasses or brown sugar. A tablespoon mixed with a liter of water acts as microbial food. It gives those decomposers the energy they need to multiply fast. And third, old compost or garden soil, just a handful sprinkled between layers, works as an inoculant. It introduces the right microorganisms from the start. Once these went in, my pile heated up within days. A sign that microbial life was kicking into high gear. The warmth wasn't just random, it was a biological bonfire, proof that the decomposition engines were roaring. I didn't have a compost tumbler or a fancy bin. My setup was literally a repurposed 20-liter plastic bucket with holes drilled on the sides for airflow. I layered the materials like a lasagna: greens, browns, a sprinkle of soil, a splash of bio booster, and repeated until full. Every 2 to 3 days, I'd stir the mix gently with a stick. This kept oxygen flowing and prevented foul smells. If the compost started to smell sour or slimy, I'd add more browns like dry materials. If it was too dry, I'd add more greens or a splash of water. The key was moisture. The pile should feel like a wrung-out sponge, damp but not dripping. Too much water suffocates microbes, and too little dries them out. Within 2 weeks, the transformation was visible. The scraps had softened, colors faded, and the smell turned earthy, a sure sign of active decomposition. By week 4, the pile had shrunk to half its size. When I scooped up a handful, it was dark, crumbly, and full of tiny white, fungal threads. Exactly what I wanted. By the 6th week, my bio-black gold was ready. No trace of banana peels or coffee filters, just rich compost that looked like ground chocolate. To test it, I spread a small layer on one section of my vegetable bed and left another section untreated. Within days, the difference was striking. The black gold side was bursting with new shoots, greener, thicker, and stronger than ever, Worms moved in like they owned the place. The untreated side? Dull and sluggish. That's when I knew this wasn't just compost, it was soil resurrection in a bucket. Small batches work better. You know, it's tempting to dump everything into one huge pile, but honestly, smaller batches break down faster and let you control the balance a lot more easily. Don't fear the smell, just fix it. If you notice a bad odor, it usually means the ratio is off. Add some browns, like dry materials, to soak up the moisture and get things back in balance. Diversity really feeds life. The more variety you toss in from your kitchen scraps, the richer your compost becomes. Each ingredient brings its own nutrients and microbes to the mix, and, oh, keep it alive. Once your compost is ready, don't let it dry out completely. Moisture keeps that microbial network active, even after it's done. This compost became my universal garden tonic. I use it in 3 main ways. First, there's top dressing. I spread a thin layer around my plants every few weeks. It keeps the soil surface rich and prevents moisture loss. Next up, compost tea. Just a handful of compost soaked in a bucket of water for about 24 hours creates this nutrient-rich liquid fertilizer. And finally, soil booster. When I'm transplanting seedlings, I mix 1 part compost to 2 parts garden soil. It really helps roots settle fast and wards off transplant shock. Every time I use it, the results speak for themselves. Stronger roots, faster growth, deeper color, and, honestly, fewer pests. This bio-black gold is more than just decomposed scraps. It's a living ecosystem. Billions of bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and nematodes all working together. These microorganisms don't just feed plants, they actually partner with them. They unlock nutrients, improve soil structure, and even protect roots from diseases. Think of it like giving your soil a probiotic smoothie. You're not just feeding it, you're healing it. What I love most about this process isn't just the results, it's the transformation. There's something deeply satisfying about turning yesterday's waste into tomorrow's abundance. Every banana peel becomes a story of renewal. Every eggshell, a promise of stronger roots. And here's the beautiful irony. By taking care of my soil, it started taking care of me. My vegetables taste better, my yields are higher, my connection to nature is deeper. This is what Soil Sage Chronicles is all about. Rediscovering the wisdom hidden in the dirt, and sharing it so we can all grow better, together. You don't need to be an expert gardener or own acres of land. Start small, use what you have, watch, learn, and let nature guide you. Your kitchen is already producing the raw materials. It's time to put them to use. If you found this guide useful, make sure to subscribe to Soil Sage Chronicles on YouTube, where I share hands-on experiments, regenerative soil tricks, and forgotten garden wisdom every week. And don't keep this secret to yourself. Share this article with another gardener who could use a little black gold in their life. Let's keep the soil alive, one kitchen scrap at a time.